The college football experience week 5 pregame show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks presented by WinBet. Bet $100 at WinBet and get $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today.
This is Mike Leach, head football coach at Mississippi State, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome. Welcome to the college football experience pregame show. Oh, today's fucking loaded with great games. Cannot wait to talk about all this action. Cannot wait to watch all this action. I am here in Eagle Rock, California. God's eye is right in the other room, and I'm going to watch 3,000,000,100 hours of football. If you're wondering who the fuck you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
Yes, the slate is fantastic today. I mean, got to take a moment and appreciate what we got going. College football, the season's already into October. What the hell is going on? Look, I am joined by, this guy, host of the NBA Gambling Podcast, host of the WNBA Gambling Podcast, and just I know it all when it comes to college football. He's got locks that are always hitting. You got to check him out. Give him a follow on Twitter at @reallyRel__. Anyway, give it up for my guy Terrell Furman Jr.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How you doing, my friend? Good morning.
And hey, last night was good to me. Swept the board in the Friday slate. Voice is a little messed up. You could tell. Swept the board in the Friday slate. Lock of UTSA comes in.
We had to sweat a little bit there.
Yeah. But it was never in doubt. No need to focus on the rear view and how close it got there. It got there. We locked up UTSA. That was the easy cash. I went against all of you and locked up UCLA. That was good to me.
That's the only game I got wrong this week.
Yeah, it is. I see your side too. Yeah,
I got South Carolina. I had on Thursday. I had South Carolina. I had Utah State. I even had the Bengals. And then on yesterday, I hit on everything, including the FCS game, except for Washington laying 11 at the Rose Bowl. But I did lock up. I had a heavy bet on New Mexico. That thing almost.
Oh yeah, that cashed that too.
Yeah, but I mean, UNLV got a pick six with like 10 seconds or like 30 seconds left in the game, and I'm like, oh man, now they got to kick off to New Mexico again. And I'm like, this is going to be another pick six because this quarter they're not used to throwing the ball. The sweat was real last night, but fantastic. I also had Tulane on the money line, even with the Michael Pratt news. And shout out to you for letting me know. But even with that, I said, you know what, this Houston team's a mess.
Yeah,
I wasn't anticipating the third string quarterback because the second string quarterback after the
first, he thought he was a baller. He said, "Hey, I'm finna put this DB down." What you mean?
I'll be honest. If you would have told me ahead of time they're on the third string quarterback, I would have went Houston Cougars. But sometimes you get lucky. I see the chat is alive and well. Shout out to Alan Cooley, Lane Elliott, Ryan McIntyre, Dre Youngin, Mako. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. We got a loaded slate, my friend, and I mean this is a really good week, and I think let's just get into some of these games that will be kicking off within the hour. I think I'm actually going to start with our service academies because our friend here, Terrell Furman Jr. in the United States Air Force. So Navy, Air Force, Colorado Springs. Last time I checked, and this was yesterday, I was seeing rain all day. This line is currently at 14. The over under actually went up a little bit, 38.5. What are you doing here, my friend?
All right. I feel like I understand why everybody thinks that this is a rivalry game, service academy game. This is, typically the two slowest offenses in the league, and they all run the ball, triple option, all that. I'm going Air Force. I think Air Force is by far the better team. And the difference, I think Air Force can throw the ball. Air Force has the ability and the quarterback, that two quarterbacks, as we saw from last week, that can actually go and air the ball out a little bit. I think that they get behind the defense a couple of times. This gets over the 14. A lot of money in on Navy right now. I'm going to go when they zig, I'm a zag. So I'm going to go Air Force here. Slight lean to the under, but I think that Air Force can get a couple long ball touchdowns that actually open this spread up.
Well, the Air Force has actually whooped their ass lately. I think like 3 of the past 4 Air Force has really like laid it on them, and they would have covered this number. However, I know they're calling for pouring rain, but I am seeing at this very moment 0 rain. I just did a quick Google of Colorado Springs weather. Now that doesn't mean that it might be pouring down by the time the game starts, but I think that that could be in benefit if you take Air Force, because you're right. Air Force has Haaziq Daniels and Ben. I think his name is Ben Britton, the backup quarterback.
Yep,
they're pretty good passing. They still run the triple option, and you'll get open receivers. That's the benefit of it. If you could ever get an option quarterback that can pass the ball, boy, you can cash in.
Last couple meetings in this one. Last meeting last year, 23-3 Air Force. Year before that, 2020, 40-7 Air Force. But remember, that's the 2020 year, and Navy. I don't think Navy brought anybody back that year.
Yeah, I thought Navy had these crazy protocols too, even more so than Army and Air Force.
Year before that, 2019 Navy 34-25. Year before that, 2018 Air Force 35-7. So Air Force has been rather dominant in this series.
I'm going to take the points though. I'm going to take the points just because I think Niumatalolo is getting these guys up. I think he's a good coach. I saw some people say he should be on the hot seat. Fucking crazy. I mean, he's had a couple down years, but if you look at his whole body of work, he's had some great seasons there with not. I mean, shit. I can't. Sometimes I guess Keenan Reynolds would be one, or Malcolm Perry that I think actually played in the NFL, but. You don't have a lot of NFL players on that roster, and to win the way they did.
Chat is booming, by the way.
I'm loving it. Right?
Appreciate the love. See the Sports Gambling Podcast in there. What's up, fellas? Ryan McIntyre also 3-0 at the night last night. He had UTSA, Boise, and UCLA. Hey, Boise had me going in that first half. I'm not gonna lie. I almost said that we're gonna fade Boise the rest of the year, but they showed back up.
No. I think their problem is they were going air raid. I know their quarterback is a freshman, and Halani, the running back, but then the backup running back, Jeanty, I think his name is pronounced. He's a freshman. If anything,
yeah, we were watching.
Dude, he's a baller.
Yeah, we like him. We like him.
Yeah. Like I'm kind of thinking like, hey, maybe this panic mode, getting rid of the Bachmeier and the air raid, maybe they can still win the Mountain West. I don't know. Let's see. Shout out to the chat though. I see J Bobo 2. I don't know why I sounded so weird saying that. J Bobo 2 says thanks for your service, Terrell. I'll second that, my friend. And here we go. Let's get into this. Michigan, Iowa City. I mean, lawn chair specials in Iowa City going on all the time with Spencer Petras. But have you seen their record against top 5 opponents over the past 10 years? It's pretty ridiculous. This line, I'm currently seeing it at 10.5. I bet it at 11. I took the Hawkeyes just because JJ McCarthy's first road start, and you got to go there. I get it. Iowa's offense is horrible. If anything, if I was Iowa, you might want to consider punting on first down, just because I think your defense will be able to force a couple turnovers throughout the game against a really unproven quarterback. Yes, McCarthy's talented, but going on the road to Iowa City is a very tough environment to go into. What are you doing here?
I am. I want to say I'm on Iowa, and I want to be on Iowa. I go on record every year saying that I'm pretty sure Iowa has a good chance of sweeping every single home game because of that atmosphere.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Michigan has a lot of question marks for me. That game last week looked disgusting.
They did. And what is Iowa known for? Stopping the run. Well, guess what? Michigan won that game last week by running the ball. They struggled in the air. The main thing is, can Iowa and Spencer Petras not turn the ball over? Because he's good for a pick six like every other play. So I would be as conservative as possible if I was Kirk Ferentz, because I do think McCarthy will make some mistakes. I got to take the points there. The over unders at 42. You got to lean there. That is a pretty low Big Ten over under right there. That's a triple option over under. I lean under too. I think this is like a 17-10 or 17-14 game.
Yeah.
What are you doing there?
I think I lean under. I mean, I'm not going to take an over with Michigan, and I'm not going to take a Big Ten over. Actually, like, how many times am I really? If it's not Purdue, why am I betting a Big Ten over? So I'm not betting a Big Ten over. That's for one. But
yeah,
really, my thing here is, do I trust Iowa enough on the money line? Like, that's my thing here. Do I trust Iowa enough on the money line to upset Michigan? It just feels like an ugly game that Iowa makes close, but somehow they come out and get a win. I just don't know.
You know what's helping Michigan a little bit though is that this was originally going to be a night game, and they pushed it to that morning slate. If it was night game, I think I would have been all in on Iowa money line. I'm still with you though. I'm still sprinkling plus 325 on the money line for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Let's move along. Let's go. TCU host the Oklahoma Sooners. Is this a bounce back spot for the Sooners, or is TCU actually legit as one of the last remaining undefeateds in the Big 12? Oklahoma's laying. This was at 7 and it came down to 5.5. I've even seen a 5 out there at a 4.5 just about an hour ago. Oklahoma laying 5.5. Why is the line came down? Part of me thinks, now I don't know that Sonny Dykes will do this, but if you saw the way Adrian Martinez dominated, which, by the way, we don't have to bring that up. But if you saw the way Adrian Martinez dominated with just running the ball at Oklahoma or against Oklahoma, Max Duggan, who's the starting quarterback of TCU right now because of Morris's injury, although I think Morris, they said he's actually going to dress today. He has similar capability if they wanted to go to it. The problem is they kind of run all this air raid stuff. What are you doing here?
I want to say that this Oklahoma defense gets back right. And I think that they have pieces of talent. It's not, all of Brett Venables' guys, but they have pieces of talent. Venables is a good defensive coach. I think that they are actually really kind of disappointed in what they looked like last season, not last season, but last week against Kansas State, and kind of letting Kansas State in that game. I think this is a game coming off of a big emotional game for Sonny Dykes, TCU going and beating SMU, who's rival game there. I'm going Oklahoma. I'm gonna lay the 5. If this was closer to 7, I'd probably be back on TCU, but it's 5. Yeah. It's under a touchdown. I'm gonna take Oklahoma here. I think they bounce back.
When I picked this on Tally side, I didn't bet this game, but when I picked it on Tally side, I got 7, and I was like, I'm taking TCU at 5. I think I lean OU. I think I lean OU here. So should be a fun one. These are all the 9 a.m. slate too. Kentucky, top 10.
This
Kentucky.
Is the biggest confusion. I have no idea what to do with this game because there's so many methods that this game just crosses.
Kentucky's getting 7, 6.5, depending on where you're looking right now. Over at WinBet, I'm seeing 6.5 right now. 6.5 on the road in Oxford, Mississippi. Hottie toddy. Chris Rodriguez is back. This is his first game back since his DUI suspension. I'm on Kentucky here. I'm going with the better quarterback and the better running back. Cause Zach Evans, by the way, is questionable, but I know he's good too with Ole Miss, but I just think it's going to be a close game. Ole Miss still might win this game, but I could see it by 3 or 4. I could see like a 41-38 game or
35-31, and I'm getting more than 4 points. Give me Kentucky, I think it's worth sprinkling a little bit on that money line because Ole Miss's schedule has been really nobody's so far. Not that Kentucky went at the swamp, so that to me they're a little more tested than Ole Miss. I'll take the points. What are you doing?
Kentucky's a public dog, and public dogs have fleas.
There we go.
We know that Ole Miss is a pretty solid team. Kentucky's good, and I think Kentucky's getting a lot of praise because they have a quarterback that everybody is like, oh, he's going to be one of the top quarterbacks in the draft. I'm going to say no. This is a tough road environment. Ole Miss is a tough place to go play. I'm going to back Ole Miss here. I don't like it. I'm not betting this. I'm not betting. It just, I don't know. It's too much money going the opposite way for that spread to come up to 6.5, and it was sitting at 6. Yeah, that's just red flags in my mind. I'm going Ole Miss.
Hottie Toddy says Terrell Furman Jr. Next up, Purdue. Aiden O'Connell is going to play. I know a lot throughout the week. If you listen to our Wednesday pick show, we were kind of all over the place with this game because of the uncertainty. I just saw a report he will start for the Boilermakers as they head into Minneapolis to take on the Golden Gophers. Purdue is catching 9, so this line actually came down a little bit. I think knowing that O'Connell is playing, but that still is. I kind of would have had this at a touchdown game. Even having said that, though, I'm taking Minnesota because I think they're baiting you into taking Purdue here. Anything over a touchdown, I think Minnesota's going to win this thing by 10 or more. Row that motherfucking boat. What are you doing?
All right. You know Joey Gallo's on Minnesota.
Oh, don't tell me that.
I'm going with O'Connell, and I'm going with Purdue, man.
Don't fucking tell me that. The ultimate mush, Joey Galloway. Fair enough. We got the Bielma battle, which is actually a pretty hilarious game because I know these fans. There's a lot of animosity in Madison, or there was. Who knows if it still exists? But when Brett Bielma left Wisconsin for Arkansas, and then kind of said that that's a better job, kind of talked a little shit about the University of Wisconsin and Madison, and then the fans in Madison had shirts saying thank you, Bert Bielma, purposely misspelling his name. Wisconsin is laying 6.5. Man, this line has come down a little bit, but Illinois on the road, Bielma's first trip to Madison since this place is going to be fucking bonkers because of that. But I kind of think Illinois in the points is the play. You?
No, I'm on Wisconsin. I don't think Illinois looks good.
They're the same team to me.
Yeah,
both these teams are the same. That's why I'm taking
Wisconsin has a little bit of an emotional factor with this one. Bielma coming back into Madison, talking all that shit, and they're able to go. I'm gonna back the home team. I do think that they're actually a little bit the same, but I will say this: it looks.
I will say this: tally site, I got it at 8. I think it was a couple days ago. Patty C is locking up Illinois +7. I think that's a bit reckless because it's still Madison. It's still Madison. Like both these defensive coordinators are fantastic on both sides of the ball, but now that it's below 7, I can kind of see. I think I probably would lean Wisconsin there. Next up, Texas Tech comes into Manhattan, Kansas. This line it's at 7.5. Kansas State is a favorite here. My guy, Adrian Martinez, my guy. Look, Texas Tech partied their ass off. They upset Texas. K-State beats Oklahoma every year, folks. It's not shocking. It's like they've won 4 of 5 against OU. I think K-State. I'm actually, you know what? I'm gonna bet this. This is a lock. K-State's gonna roll Texas Tech. Texas Tech's been partying all week. The bank picked up the tab.
What? And Kansas State hasn't been partying?
They do it every year. They beat Oklahoma every year. It's a normal thing. It's a normal thing. It's just another, another manic Monday. All right.
No way. No way. And then how Kansas State won that game? How they won the game. It's not just the fact they won, how they won that game. No, man. I don't care. I'm
Still
doing
not
it till the
learning.
wheels fall off.
Still not learning, man.
I'll do it till the wheels fall off. Give me Texas Tech plus 7.5. Texas Tech is kind of a public dog too, so I don't know if I'm sprinkling on the money line, but they keep this game inside. This is probably a shootout. In all honesty, well, no, maybe not. This could actually go under. The Kansas State be hogging clock.
There we go.
Give me Texas Tech. Texas Tech has the explosive offense. I think they get a couple big plays behind that Kansas State defense. They keep this one close.
I'm all over the Wildcats. You know me in the state of Kansas this year. Some other weekday games, or not weekday games. What the fuck am I talking about? 9 a.m. games. Man, Louisville, Boston College. This game's kind of gross, but what are you doing here? This line's come down, and I don't understand why. Because Boston College sucks, but it's at 13.5 now. I don't understand. This was at 16.5 earlier in the week, maybe even 17. I can't remember. They're in the Chestnut Hill. Both these teams suck. I think Louisville's better. And it's funny, on our Wednesday show, I said I'm going to take BC, and I think it was at 16.5 or 17. At 13.5, I think I do lean Louisville. What are you doing?
I'm on Louisville. I don't know what you were on, even thinking about Boston College. We don't talk about Boston College as much as one of the worst teams in college football, but yeah, they're like very much on Colorado level here. I'm pretty sure they're 0-4, 0-3.
Yeah, they're horrible, man. Their O-line is a mess.
Yeah, no, give me Louisville. I've seen more from Louisville. Give me Louisville.
I gotta mention this one because Patty C. Texas State comes into Harrisonburg, Virginia. This game. By the way, that Boston College game, maybe that's why it came down, because I see that pouring rain is supposed to be going on, and same with this one in Harrisonburg, pouring rain all day. Folks, remember this when betting. There's a gigantic storm, and it moved along faster. It moved along a lot faster than I think what experts were saying, and now it's like all I think North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, and even I think Pennsylvania getting dumped on some. Texas State's catching 22 in Harrisonburg in the rain. I mean,
give me Texas State. I mean, this is the same. This just feels like App State versus Troy all over again. I'm just blindly give me Texas State. JMU probably finds a way to win this game, but Texas State makes it close. We got to remember, JMU was, no matter how good JMU is, they were still an FCS team a year ago. And I think that has to have a little bit of stock into something. I don't think that they're just going to come in and run all over the Sun Belt. I don't think these Sun Belt teams are going to come in and just let them run all over the Sun Belt. I think Texas State says, all right, let's go in here and let's try to, break up the party a little bit. Give me the plus 22.
You know what scares me a little bit though, because I'm with you. I'm taking Texas State, but they do run the air raid, and in pouring rain, that might favor into James Madison's favor. They're kind of a ground and pound team.
Though?
I don't know. I mean, I looked last night before I went to sleep. I wrote down all the teams that the rain was supposed to really hit, and that was one that, I mean, I don't know if it's fucking pouring or not, but I mean, Harrisonburg.
I guess Virginia is a little ways from me now, but South Carolina and I mean, for most part of a lot of places, it's been pretty clear on Saturday, but look into that weather report. If it is a bunch of rain, then okay, that is kind of concerning.
Oregon State travels to Salt Lake City. I think you might have a look ahead spot for the Utes as they travel to UCLA next week. Oregon State coming off a heartbreaking loss to USC. They hit the road. Oregon State's catching 10.5 in Salt Lake City. What are you doing here, man? I'm taking the Beavers. I'm not going to take it on the money line. But it's not a bad play. It's not a bad play, but give me the 10.5 in Salt Lake City. Mm-hmm. If their fucking quarterback can just not turn the ball over, I think Oregon State. I would not surprise me if this is a 3-point game in the fourth quarter and anything can happen there. What are you doing?
Give me the Utes, because the Utes have been in all They've just been a cash cow ever since that Florida game. They've been a cash cow, and they've been covering spreads. They've been covering large spreads. I know Dryden's in the chat and Jives all over his beeves, but I think that this Utes team is legitly a top 5 team in college football. I think that if they won that game against Florida, they would be legitly into the top 25. They have a great defense. That offense is explosive. I think that the Utes kind of play with the Beavs here. I think they get over this 10. This just feels like a spot where Utah comes and catches Oregon State in a flat spot after they just played their hearts out against USC the week before. Not taking anything away from Oregon State. I just like the Utes here. I think it's a better spot for them, and nobody's looking ahead to UCLA. Come on.
Rice Eccles is a tough place to play. And this is the point. I mean, I took Oregon State. I kind of wanted to flirt with the money line here, but momentum is such a key thing in this game. Oregon State has to get out to an early lead. If not, this stadium, you see it. I don't care who you are. Like you go in, Oregon last year got rolled all within like a 5-minute stretch in the second quarter. And I think Utah scored like 21 unanswered in like 5 minutes. Britton Covey had a punt return for a touchdown. And I've always felt like this with Rice Eccles is that if you can get out ahead of the crowd, but if you let that momentum come in there, you could lose. Even if you're a ranked team, you could lose by fucking 30 or 40 points because of that crowd and that momentum that happens. Moving to the next slate, Wake Forest in Tallahassee. Wake Forest getting 6.5 points. I'm sorry here. Wrong team. Favorite.
Like why is there's so many public dogs this week? It just feels like if you look at how the money split and handle all of that, Kentucky public dog, we feel really good about them. Wake Forest public dog, we feel really good about them. You go and NC State public dog, and we feel pretty good about them. There's a lot of public dogs on the board that I'm just like, what are the books makes? Why is Kentucky a dog? Why is Wake Forest a dog? I understand why you make NC State a dog just because of the history and Clemson, but Wake Forest and Kentucky, that's confusing. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, especially this Wake Forest one, like because they whooped Florida State's ass recently. Like, yeah, Kentucky, Ole Miss. I don't want to say Ole Miss won in Kentucky last year by 1. So that one makes a little more sense to me. This one is like, what? I mean, Florida State rolled these guys last year.
And everybody's on Wake Forest. Everybody's on Wake Forest for good reason. This is wrong team favorite. I don't know. I'm going to stick with my guns and say Wake Forest. But if I look back at a box score and Florida State won by 7 or 8 points, I'm not going to be surprised because why are they even dogs? Why are they dogs?
Yeah, I don't get it either. I really don't get it. By the way, B Money in the chat saying light rain for that Texas State JMU game for kickoff. And then as the game goes into it, I think the second and third hour of the game, showers.
So you might want to try to get an early over. Maybe you get a score or two early in that game, take the under, and then you'll get, lower scoring as the rain picks up. They start running the ball more, killing the clock. So maybe that's a game where you want to kind of target a higher number for that under. Maybe get a touchdown early, maybe 2 touchdowns early, hop in on the under, and then just ride it out through the rain.
Yeah, and shout out to Mondell Beach. He's a big Florida State fan, and he is right. It is a different team. They had 5 turnovers last year. Florida State has been super impressive this year. They look better than I ever imagined they would be this year. So I understand that. I still think that line should be closer. If you're going to favor Florida State, I still think it should be like 3. It doesn't make a 6.5, and it was at 7 for a while for like a decent amount there. It should be a good game though, Mondell, and best of luck with your Seminoles. Virginia Tech heading into Chapel Hill. Oh man, this game. Why? I mean, this one's going to be in the rain, I think too. I think this is another one where they're saying
I think it's light rain right now. I just asked my homeboy up in that area. He said it's light rain going on right now. A little chilly.
All right. Well, I feel better about taking Carolina, even though their defense sucks so much. I
can't trust Virginia Tech's offense to do anything. Yeah. Virginia Tech's offense might actually be cursed as long as Hendon Hooker is still balling in the NCAA. So they might just have a curse going on.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of I feel like everyone, all the college football fans and bettors out there last night watching Braxton Burmeister at San Diego State.
He's really bad. Like
it's really, unbelievable.
Really bad.
He's really. I know we made fun of the Bo Nix Malik Willis thing, that's not even close to the level of how bad
at least
Justin
Bo Nix
Fuentes
is still
was.
playing at a Power 5.
Well,
you know,
and Bo Nix has moments where I see like some really good athleticism, and I'm like, there's a couple times where I'll see some. I remember like a play against LSU last year where I was like, whoa, where the fuck was that? I mean, Malik Willis is still flat out way better, but this one is maybe the worst of all time. Like this one, I think might be the worst of all time. Braxton Burmeister starting over Hendon Hooker. North Carolina's laying 9.5. You taking the Tar Heels?
Yeah. I'm not backing this Virginia Tech team, not on the road, especially after last year. A lot of the guys at USC remember going there, first game of the season, getting killed by Burmeister of all people, Burmeister. So I think that they go and that offense kind of flourishes over that Virginia Tech defense. I don't think this one is close. Give me UNC.
I'm with you. Oklahoma State heads to Waco, rematch with the Big 12 championship. These Big 12 games. Shout out to the fucking Big 12 conference. I find them the most entertaining conference this year. Every game is awesome. Oklahoma State at Baylor. Baylor's laying 2.5. Rematch of the Big 12 title game. If you remember this one, folks, Oklahoma State about an inch away from going to the CFP. What a game that was. Oh man. I just think OK State's untested. They're untested. They're heading down to Waco. And I know Dave Aranda, I think Dave Aranda is low key one of the best coaches in college football. Like I think he's just way like he's not getting the notoriety that he should, in my opinion. I think he's one of the best coaches in college football. I'm going to lay the 2.5 with Baylor. I think he's going to give Spencer Sanders a hard day there in Waco. What are you doing here?
Baylor's a very, very public play, seeing about 80% of money, 80% of bets on Baylor right now. I think that's sharp money though, because I think that this Baylor team is just that much better than Oklahoma State. I'm not 100% certain what this Oklahoma State team really is this season. Spencer Sanders is a guy that I've had fun fading him in the past, and especially in big spots, big 12 spots, I've had fun fading him in some spots. So I think this is a little bit more of a defensive game, probably running the ball, and that's what gets Baylor over, because I hate Baylor's quarterback play. Absolutely hate Baylor's quarterback play, but I think that running the ball with those backs can open things up for them. I'll take Baylor.
Yeah. Staying in the Big 12, our boys, Iowa State and Matt Campbell come into Lawrence, Kansas. We got another sellout in Lawrence. Holy shit. All right. This is this is unbelievable what's happened in Lawrence.
This is another one that confuses me.
Jayhawks still not ranked. Jalen Daniels still not getting talked about with Heisman hype. Meanwhile, Iowa State's a 3-point favorite. I did see a 3.5 out there too earlier this morning. Jump on that if you can. But Kansas is catching 3. I do think Matt Campbell got a little. He got those refs were fucking terrible last week.
Yeah.
And getting the targeting on that safety, and then Baylor attacking, because people don't realize that they had an all-conference Big 12 safety that Matt Campbell screamed tampering, because late in the portal cycle he bounced to Ole Miss, right? And he was all conference. So then the second string safety last week when he got the targeting, so they're basically on their third string safety last week. He is back for this game, but what are you doing here? I'm taking Kansas. Look, I have a philosophy right now. Okay, like I said this on the show the other night. If Kansas was playing Alabama, if Kansas was playing the Los Angeles Rams, I would take. I've made so much money on this team over the past 2 years. I am going to continue to ride Kansas until I lose.
So, this is another one. Why is Kansas a dog? That Kansas made -1, -2. It feels like that the wrong team is favored here. This could be a bad day for the books if a lot of these dogs come in. Like if a lot of these dogs that just shouldn't be dogs come in, it's gonna be a really bad day for the books. But I'm gonna suck it up and ride Kansas. I like Kansas today.
Nikki B 44 says Clones by 2 scores. Ooh. Perhaps, but let's see. I see B Money saying Kansas is gonna beat Iowa State. Build the statue for Lance Leipold right now. All right, next up we go to College Park. Once again, I think do a rain check on this game, folks. I'm seeing 55% chance rain right now, and that the game's not on for a few hours. Mel Tucker and Michigan State coming to College Park. Maryland's laying 7.5. This one was tough for me. This one was actually one of the harder ones for me. I ended up taking Michigan State. I don't trust it. I do not trust this play. I don't advise you to bet this one. Gun to my head, I'm getting more than a touchdown. I think both these teams are counterfeit, but I was actually impressed with Maryland last week. But give me more than a touchdown with Michigan State. What are you doing?
Michigan State's really, really bad though. Michigan State's really bad. I think that they're getting this number because of the question marks, but I don't think those are really question marks for Maryland. I think all their guys are going to play. Just give me Maryland. I'll just take Maryland. I don't like this one. I'm not betting it.
Yeah. Alabama heads to Fayetteville, Arkansas, where a fan perhaps might bite another man's nose off. In one of the crazier stories we've heard in college football this season, Alabama is laying 17 in Fayetteville. I get it. Arkansas's pass defense is horrible. However, this was a 7-point game in Tuscaloosa a year ago. I think Arkansas's offense a little bit better this year, and I thought they're coming off that loss to A&M. Give me the 17. Bama still wins though. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm taking Bama in the points. Arkansas's look 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks that I think Arkansas's look pretty questionable for me, and I just don't think you can look like that going into Bama. You can't say that you had a look ahead spot 2 weeks, 2 weeks earlier. Maybe a little bit of a look ahead to Texas A&M with Missouri State, but it still didn't really look good in that Texas A&M game either. I think Alabama rolls.
There we go. And I see Hunter in the chat finally up from his NyQuil break. All right. Let's get that Bowling Green cover. That is correct. That is one that I will take you to right now. And I know I rode Akron over 2.5 wins. Still possible later in the year, but I am laying the 8.5 with Bowling Green. Lock it up. I think Bowling Green's going to fuck up Akron. What are you doing here? Little Maction Saturday.
Why are we talking about this? No. Maction is so much better during the week. I feel like I have a much higher hit percentage during the week in Maction than on Saturday. I'll go Bowling Green here. Akron's it's a lot of points. I'll go Bowling Green here. Bowling Green's been pretty straight. I think they can get a cover against Akron.
There we go. Texas A&M comes into Starkville, Mississippi.
This is a good one. Somebody was talking about this one earlier too.
Yes, and as I
asked about that, Jeff Rivet. Jeff asked about this one earlier.
Then this is one, Enos Smith, one of the best offensive players for Texas A&M's out for the year.
Mm-hmm.
That just happened in the Arkansas game in I believe the second half. I'm all over Mississippi State here. I almost think it's obvious, but I there's no way A&M shouldn't have won that game last week. When you watch that game, they needed a 98-yard fumble return for a touchdown. I'm on Hail State. I know they're our boy, but what are you doing here?
So, what is this? Do they have? That's 2 losses. Is that 2 losses? No, 1 loss for A&M thus far.
Yes, 1 loss, and this will be number 2 because they have Alabama on deck. They're actually going to lose
potentially number 3. Yeah, like this is rough. I think A&M's fraudulent as well. I actually am not the highest on Mississippi State. That defense still is a problem against SEC teams. I think that Max Johnson is better for A&M. I'm just not certain on A&M's defense and if they'll be able to keep up with Leach's bunch today. I think this is the game Leach kind of takes off against a pretty high and esteemed SEC team. I'll take Mississippi State.
There we go. Next up, LSU Auburn. They're just trying to get Harsin fired. Somehow Auburn won that game last week, and I thought that was the fucking most hilarious game of the week. LSU at Auburn. LSU's laying 8. I'm going heavy on LSU here. I think Auburn's a dumpster fire. I know this is a huge rivalry game, so normally you're not supposed to do that. Anything over a touchdown in a rivalry game, but I'm gonna say LSU wins this thing by double digits. Let's go. What are you doing here?
I don't trust any of these teams. I don't trust either team. I don't think that they're good. Like neither one of these teams are good. But Auburn is like Auburn really might be tanking. And I don't know how good that is for you in college football where you're not getting a first round draft pick at the end of the season. But it feels like Auburn is tanking. Something tells me, does Auburn really get embarrassed again at home?
I mean, I just think they suck. I just don't think they're that talented. I don't think they're that talented.
Maybe we're giving Auburn.
I mean, they're on the freshman quarterback. This is by far the best defense he's going to be playing that he's ever played against. I mean, I guess you could say maybe the second half of that Penn State game, but I mean, they're out a couple offensive linemen. You know what I mean? I just think LSU's D line is going to fuck up that O line. And give me Jaden Daniels and the Tigers I'm laying the 8. I feel good about this one. Still there? We might have lost Terrell. Internet connection. There is a hurricane over there. But either way, let me do that. Let me do actually, what the fuck am I doing? Here we go. Next up, Georgia Southern heads to Coastal Carolina in Conway. And folks, people ask about a double-digit dog this morning. I had a few messages and I didn't answer them all. Sorry, I was commuting to fucking work here. But you want a double-digit dog? Do you come from a land down under? Georgia Southern plus 280 on the money line in Conway. And shout out to those Georgia Southern fans repping the college football experience in the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm not only doing this because of you guys. I actually really believe this is a close game going on in Conway, South Carolina. I'm all over the 10.5, and I'm taking the money line on Southern there. Let's go. Next up, Cincinnati Tulsa is interesting. Davis Brand is questionable. I could see Tulsa pulling the upset too as a double-digit dog, but I need Brand to be healthy. But that could be an interesting game. Troy at Western Kentucky is another interesting one. I think Troy can win that on the money line. They're a 5-point dog, maybe a 6-point dog. Virginia at Duke. Okay. Duke, I'm laying the 2.5. Blue Devils get the dub in Durham in the rain. Let's go. NC State is at Clemson. I don't think this NC State team should be in the top 10. If it was up to me, well, shit, I'll be honest. I don't think Clemson belongs in the top 10. I think Clemson though is the better team. I'll take the touchdown with State. Clemson gets the win. How about that? Next up, West Virginia is at Texas. This game's awesome. It's a fucking awesome game here. I will take the points. This line's gone down though. We know Quinn Ewers isn't starting this game. Bijan Robinson's a beast. I'm getting 8 right now with West Virginia. Let's fucking go. Where is my song? Where the hell is my song? I don't know where it is right now, but give me West Virginia.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
Indiana, Nebraska. GBO Farms was asking about this. How is Nebraska favored by 5? I got no idea, but they might know something I don't know. Give me Nebraska minus the 5. I was not impressed with Indiana over the past 3 weeks. UAB Rice is an interesting one in the CUSA. All right. Rice catching 10. Rice beat UAB a year ago on the money line. It could happen again. You want to talk about another double-digit dog that could hit? Maybe the Rice Owls there. San Jose State, Wyoming. All of a sudden, this is a huge game in the Mountain West. All of a sudden, I'm going to take Wyoming plus the 3 at home. Sprinkle some of that money line too. Then we have Stanford and Oregon and Eugene. I see Stanford getting 17.5. Shop around there. Stanford, EJ Smith, Emmitt Smith's son's done for the year. I guess give me the points. Although I think Oregon could roll them. I don't like that game. Georgia Tech Pitt. I don't know what to expect there. I will take Georgia Tech's getting 22. I guess give me the Yellow Jackets. Arizona State in the Coliseum taking on USC. Arizona State's getting 25. I guess I'll take the 25. Georgia, Missouri. I actually, this is one that I feel like we fell asleep at the wheel a little bit on Wednesday. I think Georgia's going to roll Missouri. I think Eli Drinkwitz might need to start thinking about the unemployment line because they need to shell out this game. I know Luther Burden though actually going to play this game. It seemed like he was going to quit the team. He's going to play. Cal heads to Pullman to take on Washington State. Washington State's laying 3.5. This is a good one. It's a good one there. I'm going to take Cal plus the points. Should be a good game. More action. Central Michigan catching 7.5 at Toledo. I will take the chips plus the points. Let's go. Lock this thing up. I got a substantial wager on this. I got it at 8, but either way, anything a touchdown or more, I'm all over CMU. What else do I like out there, folks? There's a lot of great FCS matchups too. I hope you listen to the FCS pod. If you have any questions, feel free to hit us up. And I'll try my best to answer those. Georgia State Army. That's an interesting one. The line, this thing opened up at like 10.5 or 11. It went down to like 7 or 6.5. Now it's back up to 9. I'm going to take Georgia State plus the 9 in West Point. I think they're calling for rain in that one too. Temple is at Memphis. Temple's played a lot better since going to EJ Warner, Kurt Warner's son, at quarterback. I will take the 19 with the Temple Owls. Shout out to Dre Young, and the FCS locks have been fired. That's right. And I think that's sometimes look, FCS football is fantastic. And just like the FBS, if there was more access to it, it would do just as well, in my opinion, as Group of 5 FBS. FBS does, like from a national standpoint of views on eyeballs and on games, but it's undervalued in my opinion from a gambling standpoint. So do yourself a favor, check out that FCS show. John McDevitt saying, going to the Battle of Piney Woods today. Am I still on the Lumberjacks? You know, John, this line actually went down. It was at 9. I think this morning I saw it at 7.5 or 8. I think Sam Houston is going to beat them though. I think Sam Houston's the better football team, and I think they're a more physical football team. I can't get out of my mind what Rich Rodriguez and Jacksonville State did to Stephen F. Austin, and then also I believe that was the opener. Then one other game I watched them, and I thought kind of a soft team, but I will take the points in a rivalry game. Am I taking the Buffaloes with the points? Says Lucky Nugget. Are we taking our Buffaloes? That's right. Man, anything over 17, I guess. I don't like that. I know they're starting the kid today, the third stringer. Anything over 7. There's a blueprint though. Cal gave them a blueprint of how to win that game. Run the fucking ball. Arizona's run defense is not super legit. So anything over 17, I'll take the Buffs. I don't like it a lot, but I don't know. I think that's a game maybe just stay away from maybe. Next up though, Dre Young and saying, am I taking FAU, not FIU, FAU? Florida Atlantic is at North Texas. I am. Florida Atlantic impressed me last week. Thought they got hosed by the refs in that Purdue game. I will lay, and I think I saw this line jump down a little bit. I think you can catch a 2.5 out there right now. I will lay the 2.5 on the road at North Texas. So let's go. East Carolina's taking on South Florida in Boca Raton, and that line's kind of gone between 7 and 9. I went back and forth on this. Give me ECU though. I think ECU is the better team. Northwestern Penn State. I laid the 25 with Penn State. I don't know why, because Northwestern seems to cover these big ass lines. However, I'm going to lay the 25. I like this Penn State team. Ohio, Kent State. That's one I like. I like Kent State to lay the 11 there. I do like Kent State's offense, pretty fire. So John McDevitt says, "Give me Sam Houston State. You better start thinking about yours, buddy." You are right, man. I am only taking the points because it's over a touchdown and it's a rivalry game. I do think Sam Houston State is the more physical football team. I think they're the better coach football team. So you're probably going to hit on that. I did not lock that one up. So wouldn't shock me one bit. Would not shock me one bit. Liberty is taking on Old Dominion. This game's probably going to be in the rain. Liberty's laying 3.5. Give me the Flames. The rain might help ODU some, but give me the Flames. UTEP is at Charlotte. UTEP at Charlotte. I like Charlotte plus the 4 points. Chris Reynolds is back. Plus 160 on the money line. Let's fucking roll. Let's go. ULM is at Arkansas State. ULM's catching a 7 at Arkansas State. Give me the points. Let's go. That should be a decent game. All right. I know my guy Terrell Furman Jr. had some internet problems, but I think we're gonna give out a little parlay here before we go catch these ball games. So with let me welcome them back on.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Hey,
good?
they tried to hold me back. I'm glad they did. They kept me from picking that ugly game.
The Russians, they don't want you to have the parlays, man. You know what I mean? They're hacking into the internet. What are we doing here? Let's do a parlay and a teaser.
All right.
Let's give away that. Let's give away that for these fans out here. So, I say we go. I'm taking the Iowa and 10.5. I think that should be part of the parlay. I think Michigan could still win this game by 10, by 7, by 3, by 4, by 1. I think we have to take that one. I think we have to. It's just. When's the last time a team ranked went into Iowa and won by more than those points? I would love to know that. So that would be one. What's one that you want to put on here?
You get Iowa. I want Liberty. Liberty minus 3.5. I just think that Liberty offense, Hugh Freeze has been doing crazy good. I'm thinking Kurt Ferentz. Hugh Freeze has been doing crazy.
They should not be confused. One has great offenses.
Yeah, not at all. But we were just talking about Iowa. No, I think Liberty's offense is amazing. I think that they have this freshman quarterback rolling, and he's hit his stride. I have concerns about ODU's offense. I don't think ODU can go and beat Virginia Tech and Liberty in the same season. I think Liberty is way better than Virginia, and they had those troubles with Virginia. So yeah, I'll go ahead and go with Liberty minus 3.5. That's my.
I like it. So that's 2 teams in the parlay. For a how many teams should we?
And I currently have game day up to see what the Kirk Herbstreit fades of the week are. So we might be adding that too.
How do we feel about? I like Duke minus 2.5 against Virginia.
It feels easy. It feels really easy.
I mean, I think that's the one that I like. I think you were going for this part, but I do like Georgia Southern getting 10.5 at Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, I was close to going to this game, and knowing me, I might just make the executive decision and still go, but because they moved it to a night game. But it should be relatively clear, no rain or anything to worry about in South Carolina. Probably wet field conditions. I think that Georgia Southern still has the opportunity to throw the ball downfield, and it's a different offense than Coastal has faced of Georgia Southern in previous years. So yeah, give me Georgia Southern here.
Coastal is dinged up. Grayson McCall is probable, so he's going to play, I think. But they're starting running back Braden Bennett out. They have injuries. They have injuries to the tight end, injuries to the wide receiver. The 2 of their running backs actually are out, and so I think you got to take the points here. And I don't even think it's that crazy to take 280 on the money line.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
If you told me a 2-team parlay between Iowa and Georgia Southern, I'd say, yeah. All right.
Get in there, folks. All right. Shop till you drop, customers. What about
Herbstreit is on Michigan. So I like our Iowa pick. I love our Iowa pick.
Beautiful. Fourth leg of that parlay. So if we have those 3, we need a 4th leg of that. Do we go? How good do you feel about Baylor? or Wake Forest or do we go Oklahoma -5?
Oklahoma's a good bet. Do we? Let me just scroll here looking for some value. Do we just go Kansas? Do we just say forget everything? Kansas is going to get us another one.
I mean,
we're not taking NIU. That's not going up here. Sorry. Let me go ahead and shut that down now. That's not going up there. Even though NIU probably does win and cover, I think they have a good chance. I'm not putting my dollars on NIU.
Yeah, I think they'll probably cover as well. But
what do you think about Ohio State? You think Ohio State rolls over Rutgers?
My problem is I was telling Patty C this. This is a sympathy play. They could have blown them out the past couple of years. They did blow them out, but they called off the dogs because Shiano used to coach with Day.
But okay, so then we go Rutgers because I mean, just think about it. They went to the Horseshoe and Arkansas State went to the Horseshoe and they didn't even get blown out by 40.
I just have a hard time. Rutgers offense sucks. I just have a hard. I mean, I think we're probably going to hit. I just don't. I don't know. Let's search somewhere else. Let's go somewhere else.
Let's do
how about Central?
Let's add Mississippi State.
Oh yeah, I like that. Mississippi State. There we go. Mississippi State -4. We're giving you the parlay here once again. Iowa, Mississippi State.
Wait, hold on. Let me put this in.
Georgia Southern and Liberty. All right, get in, folks. John McDevitt says, "What's the biggest play of the day or play of the week?" So like money wise, the one game you feel most comfortable about. It's Liberty. It sounds like for you, right?
Yeah, it's Liberty. It's Liberty for me. I just don't think that these two teams are close at all. I think Liberty wins by double digit.
Yeah. If anything, like this is one where you just hope it's not raining because I think Liberty is just that will play into ODU's favor.
But even he's a dual threat quarterback and he can get moving. Like they can run the ball as well. I don't know. It would just take a superhuman effort by ODU's defense to kind of keep this one inside 3.5 for me.
To answer your question, McDevitt, I'm going to go Bowling Green. I think Akron is not there yet. I am going to take Bowling Green heavy in that game. Next up, let's do a tease. Let's do a tease before we get out of here. We got 3 minutes.
Let's bring Kansas up to 9.5.
Yeah, Kansas at 9.5.
That was the off top. That was the easiest play I could think of.
What about Wake Forest to 12?
Okay.
So Wake Forest to 12, Kansas to 9.5. Do we get in on what else could we do? We could bring LSU down to 2, but I don't know how good you feel about that one.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't like either team, and I think Auburn's kind of due. Does Michigan couldn't beat Maryland by 17? What was it, 17 that you was getting? Do we just bring them up to 17?
Yeah. Iowa. Oh wait. Iowa plus 17. Yeah. That's not gonna lose. I'd be very shocked if that lost. So those 3. And then what about UNC down to 3.5?
Okay.
Is there any way we get burned and UNC only wins by a field goal?
That's not the best teaser option game, but I understand. And then it depends. Like if you have it at 9, that's a really good tease getting it down to 3.
That's true.
Wait, so what games do we have already? We said Illinois. I'm trying to put these
No. We didn't say Illinois. We said Iowa.
No, not Iowa.
We said Iowa. We said Wake Forest. And we said, what was our third one that we said? We had another one that was up there. What the fuck was the third game that we said?
Kansas.
Iowa. Oh, Kansas. Yeah. And so those 3. And then
so Iowa, let me get Kansas in here.
I think we go. I mean, shit. Bowling Green down to 3.5. I don't know. I mean, what about Wyoming up to 9 at home in Laramie against San Jose State?
Yeah, San Jose State sucks.
Yeah,
So,
let's ride that.
Wyoming. What's that? 4? We could get one more in there.
Let's go. Let's go. I mean, that's another thing is we could bring Ohio State down to 33, but that's still.
Right, no, we're not. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
Let's bring Texas State up to 27 and a half. They don't get killed. They don't get killed by James Madison.
I like it. I like it. Let's go. No. I like it. I think that's good. Good. Let's go. Folks, appreciate you tuning into the College Football Experience pregame show every single week, 8 a.m. on the West, 11 a.m. on the East. Appreciate you. Everyone give Terrell Furman a follow on Twitter at @reallyRel__. Check out the NBA Gambling Podcast. Check out the NFL Gambling Podcast. Check out the WNBA Gambling Podcast. What's that?
Just bet that tease.
There we go.
We got Texas State, Wyoming, Kansas, Wake Forest, Iowa, plus 450. Let's go. All right. Thank you so much, folks. Give me a follow on Twitter at @TheColbyD. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCEO and SGPN. And don't forget, go to iTunes, give us a 5-star review. While you're watching the games, you got your laptop right there. Do it. All right, folks. This is the College Football Experience Week 5 pregame show. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.